Anyway, welcome. It's really good today. I've got two people with me, and we're going to have a brief discussion about the use of technology and how that fits into worship. So I'd like to just introduce you to two of my good friends, Carlos from Portugal and Dave from the US. Welcome both.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Great, it's good to be with you. So we're on Coffee Shop Sunday, and we've been doing a bit of online worship now for a few months in lockdown. And I'm just really interested to hear your views about the potential for this. I mean, is there a place for online worship in when things get back to whatever we call normal? So fire away, Chuck.
In my opinion, absolutely. I think the beauty of your idea, and I commented on it before, was the fact that your approach makes it so much more accessible, whether it's in a coffee shop in person or virtually online. You've opened up avenues to folks that may not otherwise have a means to access the message and get the word. So I think what y'all have done is a remarkable thing.
Thanks, Dave.
My answer is yes, definitely yes. I have my country is a very old country, so people are very old. A great percentage of people is of old age, and they have mobility issues. Okay, and we used to have here in Portugal the Sunday Mass TV. Okay. And people watch, so people with mobility problems, they watch TV. And when I was comparing, this online worshiping and television, online worshiping is much, has much more potential, it's much more interesting because there are interaction. I sometimes see the comments on Facebook about the Coffee Shop Sunday, and people interact, and it's not just one-way communication; it's two-way communication. So it's a powerful advantage over other communication media. Okay,
that's great, Carson. What about when we get back to something approaching normal, when we have physical presence in church buildings? Do you think we would be wise to carry on with online as well? What do you think about that?
Well, being one on the other side of the ocean, I certainly hope that you do, because again, I mean, it just makes it accessible. And, smaller group worship is kind of non-denominational, which is what a lot of people are kind of looking for in their message. I mean, they live by the tenets of a faith, not necessarily a denominational one. So I think there would be a lot of value if you could to continue just broadcasting as you can, because it definitely makes you feel connected. It definitely makes you feel, or me personally, when I do get the chance to attend, it's so different. And like I say, we had the discussion the last time I was on there about I was the one with the accent, which is actually kind of strange to me. So it has been very enjoyable watching y'all thrive and grow.
And it's just great to have you on board with us, Dave, and Carlos. What do you think, Carlos, when we get back to normal? Do we have a mixture of the two approaches?
I believe so. I believe so. So I still remember. So my first thought when I saw your first messages in Facebook about this idea of Coffee Shop Sunday, and I sent you a message saying something like from Matthew 18:11, something like from where for where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there I'm with them. And I truly believe in this. So I believe that this kind of gathering, it's important, because it's perhaps in these days some people are afraid, or not so much afraid, but in some way the old idea of church doesn't appeal so much to them. So, and it's another way of of making Jesus' words coming to people. So
That's
it's
brilliant.
another way. Mhm.
That's great. I mean, I could go on with our discussion all day, as you know, but because we're moving on in time, I just wanted to finally ask you to your opinions about whether you think this type of approach could almost encourage people to either come to church for the first time or return to church. Has it got potential for that?
Oh, I believe it does. Because again, it would depend on the reason that people have kept away from church,
Yeah.
but certainly being accessible. If you spend any amount of time with the group that you have put together, your core team and the ones that I've interacted with on the services, they're such an interesting group of people that, yeah, I believe it does. It does create that appeal, or could create that appeal in many. I mean, look at your own audience as you've grown. I mean, you started very small, now it's starting to snowball and cascade. Well, there's obviously a reason for it. Maybe it is the fact that it's in a non-traditional place. Maybe it is the fact that it's just accessible more. You know, if you can't get to church or you can't worship regularly, you have the opportunity to just go to an ordinary place, like you say, and hear the word and be blessed by that. So I think it's just a fabulous, fabulous thing that y'all are doing.
That's great, David. Carlos.
No, I cannot add anything much more than what they've said. So it's a kind of it's a new technology allows this. So it's another way of people finding or using technology to how to say something like people. Some people at least some people have some kind of thirst for God. Okay, they don't know how to quench that thirst, but this is a way of finding a way of treating that need. So I find it fantastic. I find it fantastic, and I find that more we will see something about of these kinds of things in other places. We will see it in the future. We will see it. It's a trend. It's more than it's you particularly, Trevor, you are ahead of the curve. Huh?
I wouldn't say that. Yeah.
This will be perhaps one day mainstream. Okay.
Yeah.
Perhaps
Let's hope
mainstream. So.
Wait a sec, did I hear you say you weren't ahead of the curve? I'm not seeing a whole lot of like services like this. And I think one thing though is the real beauty to me of what you're doing. It's totally organic. It's totally people just wanting to engage because they want to, for whatever their particular reason is. And over here we had the saying grassroots, which is probably the best. I hate to use the word organizing in today's day and age, but if you can bring people together because they want to be there, then that's a fabulous thing indeed. And y'all appear to have done that exceptionally well. I say appear only because the numbers that I heard last week may not be current. I suspect there's probably been a lot of growth to it. So that is a remarkable thing that y'all are doing. I keep saying that, but it's true.
Brilliant.
Totally.
I mean, I think in terms of being like ahead of the curve or who's responsible for this, the main thing that we've said in Coffee Shop Sunday from day one is that God is in charge. So if Coffee Shop Sunday works, it's because God wants it to work. And there are a whole lot of people involved in this. There's a whole movement really of people who are pulling for Coffee Shop Sunday and praying for it. And all those things are important. What we try and say all the time is it's not about Trevor, it's not about Annie, it's not about our circuit, it's not about the church. It's actually about God. And that's what we try and keep at the center of it all. But it's really nice for you to say good things about Coffee Shop Sunday, and we love that. We really appreciate that. So, I mean, I'd love to carry on our conversation all day. People's patience may wear thin. So, Dave and Carlos, it's been fantastic. Good friends, great friends across the water. And we've got a standing invite for you both at Coffee Shop Sunday when you're over here. So
Well,
we expect you to come. And I'm going to stop recording now, but it's been wonderful to speak to you again. Thanks so
it's
much.
been fabulous. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Trevor.
I'll stop recording now.